What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source of combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Morrow. Today, I have a gear review on the Rival RS1 Ultra 2.0 sparring gloves. Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, and Happy New Year to you, because as of this recording, it is January 1st, 2024, though it might be uploaded at a different day, you know me, but I'm really excited to usher in the new year with a new gear review, as today we have a very requested pair of sparring gloves by Rival Boxing. We have the Rival RS1 Ultra 2.0 sparring gloves, which these gloves have actually been Rival's staple, in their own words, their crown jewel, since 2003. These were actually the first gloves designed by Rival as far as sparring gloves go. I don't know about the first glove overall, but for sparring gloves, that's what it says on their website. And these gloves have been innovating boxing gloves since 2003. They celebrated their 20th anniversary in 2023. Now it's 2024, so they're on 21 years as a boxing company. One of the biggest boxing brands in the world nowadays, and I'm honestly surprised that I haven't reviewed more by Rival Boxing, because I started getting into them a lot more towards the end of my amateur run in boxing, so 17 through 19 years old. And I've used them all throughout my amateur MMA run and now my professional MMA run, and they're just one of my favorite brands out there. They just make great stuff. There's really nothing by Rival that I've ever tried, between hand wraps, shoes, cups, headgear, gloves, bag mitts, whatever it might be, that has not been rock solid steady for me. So overall, Rival's one of those brands, and they're a huge brand in the world. I put them in that Titan category. I think they fit up there with guys like Everlast, Winning, Reyes, Grant. Obviously, Rival's up there now for me, because you see them in championship bouts all the time, and you have world champions such as Alexander Usyk, Vasily Lomachenko, Artur Beterbiev. I talked about Roy Jones Jr. even for his last couple of exhibition bouts and his last couple of pro bouts used Rival equipment, as did, I remember, Joe Smith Jr. used them for a while. You can talk about MMA guys using them when they train, such as these, like Khamzat Chimaev, Amanda Nunes, and a ton of other people. I think I even saw Tom Aspinall use Rival stuff for a while as well. So overall, Rival's just one of the biggest brands in the world. They make awesome stuff, and they are one of the biggest innovative brands as far as boxing goes. There are some brands out there for me that are just staples. Everyone knows and loves them, like Winning, for example. They've been doing the same thing since 1937. It works for them. They don't really change a whole lot because it's worked for so long. Whereas Rival firmly believes that the sport evolved, but the equipment didn't evolve with it, and they have made so many innovations to work anatomically for your body to keep you, your coaches, officials, athletes, sparring partners, whatever it might be, safe when you box. And they have something that works for everybody, and I genuinely think if I put a pair of Rival gloves on virtually anyone, they're going to have a positive result with them. These were also my number 5 on my top 10 favorite boxing glove list, so maybe you think there's some bias, but honestly, this is my second pair of gloves that I've had as far as the RS1 goes. I used to have a red pair that I gave to someone else, because when I saw gold, obviously you know I'm a sucker for gold, I went and bought these and gave the red pair to someone that could use them a lot more than I could. But as far as these gloves go, one of my favorite sparring gloves I've ever used, and in general, Rival makes really good stuff, and these are the first sparring gloves designed by Rival. Now, a little bit of a background about Rival as well. When we talk about they were started in 2003, they were started by Russ Anber. And if you don't know who Russ Anber is, for one, crawl out from underneath that rock you live under and Google his name. Very famous cutman in the world of boxing, as well as a coach. I want to say he coached for the Canadian national team a couple times. Had a lot of good pros, and he's still the cutman to guys such as Alexander Usyk, Artur Beterbiev, Roy Jones Jr., and Vasily Lomachenko to this day. And he basically got into sales when it came to boxing. When Ringside Boxing started up, he started selling for Ringside Boxing. He eventually left Ringside and then started selling for Title Boxing. And then in 2003, he was approached by somebody who basically said, I am a leather manufacturer or manufacturer in general. I heard that you had a great boxing mind. I want to make really good equipment, and they've been up and running for 20 years now, so that's absolutely cool. Russ Amber, to me, really nailed exactly. I saw an interview when he said, I wanted to innovate the boxing equipment world, and for me, he's done that in spades, and overall, love Rival stuff. So I'm going to start reviewing more stuff by Rival, because I do have a good fair amount by Rival Boxing. With all that out of the way, now that you know about Rival Boxing, now that you know about these gloves a little bit, let's go ahead and go into the model that I have for you guys today, and that is a 16-ounce pair of gloves that are lace-up only. They don't come in Velcro, though I do think a Velcro model of this glove would be very cool. They do have Velcro sparring gloves, but these are not. These are only lace-ups, and they came in 16 ounces that I have in the gold coloration. You can get them in a couple different sizes, such as 14, 16, and 18 ounces. Most pure boxing guys would tell me, because I'm 260 pounds, I'd want to use 18, or a lot of coaches would, but 16 ounces work fine for me, especially in the world of MMA. We kind of train in smaller stuff sometimes anyway, but 16 ounces is just a safe glove size for someone my size, or someone around my size, or really anybody. I think 16 ounces work for really virtually anybody, in my opinion. And then on top of it, you got a couple different colors you can pick from. Like I said, I had a red pair for a while. You can get them in white, black, blue. I want to say these I've seen in their neon green coloration as well, but you do have your basic colors as far as white, black, blue, and red, and then you also have gold. So you have a couple different color options. Rival has really cool designs as far as color goes. And then once again, 14, 16, and 18 ounce sizes, only lace-up, as most professional boxers will only use lace-up gloves when it comes to sparring, and they try to avoid the cuts or the burns from Velcro as much as they can. Now, when we go into the look of the glove, the first thing, like I said, I'm a sucker for that brushed gold look, and this looks absolutely awesome. You have a black and gold, well, gold and black coloration here. You can see the entirety of the back of the glove is entirely gold, except for the patterns that you have here in the black part down here. But let's start with the patterns up here, and you can see we got the Rival logo going here, which honestly to this day I never really know what it is. I'm pretty sure they're an eagle or they're a hawk or something, wings. Sometimes I see ram horns for some reason, but they look like that. When we come here, you have a sweeping line with a little two like dots coming out there that are coming up through here. And it goes all the way to the tip, just kind of to give you that nice aesthetic. You know, your eye likes to follow those things. And then you also have a Rival stamp right here. It says R-I-V-A-L, and these are in white while the R is in black. We come down here, you have your Ergo lace track system. That's coming right here, and it says that right down there. When we come back here, you can see the little X going across a crisscross pattern, and that's more of a design thing, so we'll talk about that in a second. Down here, it says RS1 Ultra 2.0 sparring gloves, and the Rival logo with an orange R and a little orange divot in the logo there. Coming around to the front of the glove, you can see that we have another Rival logo at the tips of the fingers, and that looks pretty cool with a black part right there. I don't know the significance of changing the color right there, but they do it. When you open it, you actually have a nice shiny black material going on throughout the palm, the upper parts of the palm, and where the grip bar is, and then the piping of the glove entirely is black. You have the black piping going throughout the thumb, the black piping going throughout the wrist, until you come down here, and it says Professional right there. As you can see, it's a little tiny stamp or a tag that says Professional, and it's a Rival logo going on there. So overall, you have really cool coloration. As far as the color of the laces or the stitching, you have a mixture of gold and black. You can see the black stitching up here a little bit, and then the gold stitching throughout this part of the glove. So overall, very cool looking glove, and that's a cool thing too about gloves, that can look really stylish like this and be flashy but operate very well, and a lot of that goes into the build of the glove that we have going on here. The outer shell when it comes to Rival RS1 is actually not leather. I don't know if the original RS1 had leather, but these are actually, they call it the indestructible microfiber, very durable microfiber leather, basically a very strong type of vinyl in a lot of ways. And the way that the microfiber leather works, guys, is basically it feels just like leather on the outside of the glove. It is very much identical to a lot of other leathers that I've used out there. The closest like artificial leather thing I can think to tell you about is kind of like Hayabusa's microfiber material, although it's not so much of a composite like Everlast or Onyx Sports use. It's more of your microfiber leather. It's supposed to have that feel, and it's a very thick material actually over the padding here, and I always like having the thicker padding here, or the thicker material here as far as the outer shell goes, because that means that there's more of a stitch to grab onto, so the stitching won't fall out as easy. It has more material to grab onto, stay nice and tight. It's very soft and smooth Actually, very nice outer shell. And you can actually see that they want the details too, because you can even see the like artificial grain marks going throughout this, and it looks very nice. So if you didn't know really the difference between leather or the microfiber that you have here, you'd guess it's a leather product. But the scent, though it is not a big heavy chemical scent, it is more of a just like there's no scent at all to it. It doesn't smell like leather, it doesn't smell like anything, which is good. And usually when you get like a metallic color like this, like gold or silver, stuff like that, you get really heavy metallic paint scent. You don't have that here at all. It's very well done. Now when we go into the padding of the glove, we actually have one solid layer. We have multi-layers of a high-density foam going throughout it, but it is one mold at the top. As you can see, the glove is actually split into two. And the reason why I say that is because you can see that this kind of has that hinge-style knuckle going on here. Like some MMA gloves do that really well, but these do it so you have independence, and this is all here. And the rest of the wrist support is down here in that conical shape. But basically what you have going on at the top is multi-layered high-density foams that you get in a lot of other boxing sparring gloves. And it's, I'd say, a good medium soft. If you were to talk about like density, you know, there's like, there's firm, soft, medium soft. I'd say it's medium soft. It's not so stiff that it's going to hurt you, and it's not so soft that it's not going to cradle anything. You got a really nice thickness of the padding here that's really going to protect your knuckles, and it forms to your fist very well. And you can see here that the padding is reforming pretty quick for a high density foam, which is good. And it cradles everything when I push in. And it also comes over to the part here that covers your thumb when you tuck it in, and your thumb is in a very nice anatomical shape as well. And you can see that the thumb's a little bit more curved up and a little bit fatter to give you some mobility and able to open your hand in a lot of ways compared to some other traditional boxing gloves that are really narrow thumbs and they point in like this. It's a little bit more on the outside. So when you close your fist, it's as natural to this as you can get it. And then on top of it, you can see we have a split seam here because a lot of molds like to do that. They split the thumb so they can put it on separate, so it's in a better spot instead of one solid mold being in one solid spot. They're able to move it, so they keep the knuckles independent from the thumb in a certain way. That's basically what you have going on here. Some people also split that for coloration as far as putting like different things of leather on. I don't think that's what happened here though. When we come to the back of the glove, we can talk about the Ergo lace system, and as you can see the crisscross pattern going down here. The wrist itself has a lot of nice like firm rubberized foam. It feels like maybe like high density like closed cell foam instead of open cell, basically meaning that air doesn't get to it. So your closed cell foam's kind of like wrestling mats, yoga mats, things like that. A little bit firmer foam, and that's what you have down here, and that's so the conical wrist can kind of stay in that shape. And what I mean by conical, it's in the shape of a foam. It also gets slightly bigger as it goes up. Think about like this is a really weird way to say this, but a baritone, a conical instrument, or a euphonium, a conical instrument. It starts out smaller, gets bigger towards the top. But you got that Ergo lace system, and it's in that nice conic shape. That's actually something on their website you can go look into. It hugs to your wrist, and like other gloves, let me unravel that a little bit. Like other gloves, you'll have to do something called pinching, which I've talked about on the channel before, and that's basically when you kind of come up here like this and you go up to the wrist like this. However, this isn't where my wrist is on this glove. This is more the back of my hands right underneath my knuckles. Where you want it to be is here. So the nice track system has a nice guiding system, so you don't have to like tape it as heavily, and so you don't have to pinch the wrist. This is exactly where the wrist lines up. So I applaud the manufacturers for that, because sometimes the laces don't line up with the wrist. And so what you do now is, what I would do is I would tie it, and then you bring it around and you go down to that strap right there, and now you tie it in the front here. All you gotta do is put a little piece of tape there around, and now you're good to go. So overall, it has a really nice pattern to it. As far as this goes, I think I went the wrong way with the other one, but putting it on myself is weird. My coach always does this part. So if I were my coach, I'd be coming here, and then coming, oh, I'm messing up, everybody, and then coming down and around like that. And then I come up, well, it's just going to keep snapping back. But you get the picture, I hope, as best as I can. It has really nice tracking system, so you don't have to squeeze it so much. And it also prevents the laces from, if you've ever had a boxing glove, if you don't tape it, the laces sometimes go up and down like this all the time. The track prevents it from moving. It's fixed right and perfect, so as I do this, it's staying right in a good spot. And so that Ergo lace system is really, really nice, that track system. And then on top of it down here, like I said, the foam of the wrist stays nice and tight to your wrist and forearm, so it really covers everything. When we talk about the other part of the back of the glove, you can see here we got a silicone stamp, which doesn't irritate the skin at all. Some people worry about that. This is more inside of the artificial leather compared to other ones that are like sticking and protruding out. These are actually very soft. And then I think actually one thing I missed earlier is you can see like the 16-ounce stamp here is embroidered, and that's a very soft embroidery as well, telling you what size you have. When we talk about the stitching, most of the glove is single line. Like down here, you have more of a single line stitch going throughout the back and going throughout the side. But once we get to the palm, you can see that we have a double line stitch. And when we talk about the palm and the thumb again, you can see that they connect very well because you have that nice webbed thumb attachment instead of just a little string that's going there, which I really like. I like that a lot. But overall, you have the nice webbed attachment, and it brings open the palm, which is once again black, and it feels like the same type of material that you have on the back, but it's a little bit soft compared to the other ones, and it feels a little bit more stretchy, I guess is the word, or flexible. And then when we come to the grip bar, it's very soft grip bar, very, very soft foam. The thumb piping is also very soft compared to some other pipings. It's very loose compared to other pipings where it like creases on the inside of your hand like that, makes it uncomfortable. You don't have that at all going on here. And then the piping and the laces are very good down here. The stitching's all good. I've not had one fray really on this glove. You can see that these kind of open up a little bit towards the bottom to let the glove air out a bit. And the one thing I like about these laces with Rival, they're always long laces, which I love, and they're very easy to pull out and open wide. So I don't really need to go up the entirety of the glove because it opens up so good because of that conical shape that I'm able to go on the inside very easy. Now when we talk about the lining of the glove, like I said earlier, it's a black lining, but you have what they call their soft foamy inside texture, and it's basically the easy way to word it. It's like a poly cotton pillow is the easiest way I can word it. It feels very comfortable on your hand, very soft, and when you put your hand on the inside, it is not a type of material that bunches up so much towards the fingers. I'm able to move just fine and make a very nice natural fist. One thing about this glove, I'll even tighten it real quick. There we go. Perfect. It's in a very nice natural fist. And at first you would say that the glove is very top heavy because it, it kind of is. If I try and balance it here, you'll see that most of it kind of goes towards the top. But the wrist does balance it out when you strap it. It becomes a very well balanced glove, being able to punch forward, up to the side very easily. Everything about the glove is very well balanced, which I love. I can't feel my knuckles through this padding, so it's very good for knuckle support. And the wrist support, like I said, because of that Ergo lace track system, goes right on the wrist with that lace to add enough compression. And then if you see the padding here, the way that the conical strap is shaped, when you push back, it stabilizes your wrist. So it doesn't let me go farther than that, and it doesn't really let me go down without snapping back up. And then side to side, it's just enough flexibility to where I'm able to move my hand very well. If you're a Muay Thai practitioner, or if you like MMA big glove sparring, they open up very easy and they get very, very good grips as well. So overall, I really like the grips on these. And on top of it, if you like to parry punches in boxing, very easy to do so. If you like to play hands, maybe, play the hand, shoot a hook over, something like that. Very easy to do that with this glove. Overall, very comfortable. Hand compartment's very comfortable. Enough space to put any type of wrap in. Of course, they're a professional sparring gloves, so you can put as big of a wrap as you really want, though I don't think it's so necessary because the padding is so dense. It is going to protect your knuckles just fine, and it's going to keep your sparring partners safe and sound, I promise. So with that said, guys, let's go ahead and go into the bag work, and we'll come back with my final thoughts on these gloves. So when it comes to punching the bags or sparring in these gloves, you just feel the overall cradling of your knuckles, and your wrists just feel so comfortable. And I love the slightly forward pressure because it's very easy for one to get grips, as you can see there, and it's very easy to just let your hands go. And they're not overly heavy on your hands as well. So you're able to just let your hands fly, and you can sink your punches as hard as you want into the bag, as I'm trying to here. Overall, very comfortable on the bag, very comfortable overall, and I think you are going to love punching with these gloves because of how protective and great that they feel. All right, when it comes to the look of the glove, once again, that brushed gold just looks absolutely awesome. And like I said, those sweeping lines that you get on the back of the glove plus the logo just make you immediately your eyes go to it. Like, that's a cool design of the glove. And overall, not only do they look cool, they perform great as well. I think in any color, these things just pop out and stand out, and you are going to love using these gloves. All right, folks, before I go into my final verdict when it comes to these gloves, I just wanted to say that, yes, I did hit the bags with these, even though they are a sparring glove. And I'm going to kind of word what Rival tells you when you get these gloves, just so you can kind of understand it. I do hit the bags with these. I hit pads with these. The padding has just held up just fine for me. I actually had a conversation with C-Squared about this. As far as, like, do you really need two separate pairs of gloves nowadays, which me and him kind of agreed with. No, you don't always, because the material is just built to last compared to what they were way back in the day. Now, what Rival will tell you on their website basically is they don't recommend that you hit the bags with sparring gloves. They say, yes, you can hit it, but it basically renders the foam, the soft foam inside the sparring glove, useless, making them just a bag mitt that you spent too much money on. And they have bag gloves on their website. And so a lot of the times, I'm not saying Rival's one of those brands, although everyone wants to make money. I'm not saying Rival's one of those brands where it's like they want you to buy two things, or they're kind of backing you into a corner to do things. They're just old school run, and that you need one pair to spar, one pair to hit the bags, and that's what they want you to do. In this case, I think you can hit the bags in these. However, Rival has given you a gentle warning that you can do that. We just don't recommend it. So yes, you can hit the bags in these. And you've also seen some of your favorite pros hit bags with these, such as Mike Tyson for his comeback was hitting bags and pads with these. Anthony Joshua was hitting bags and pads with these, and they've turned right around and sparred in them the next minute. So maybe they were just warming up before they sparred. I don't know. But I've also seen Artur Beterbiev use like the RS1V, which is a sparring glove, in bag work before. So maybe he's just breaking it in. I don't know. But that's kind of, my opinion on it. I think, yes, you can, but if you're just going to hit bags for fun, just get a bag mitt. I wouldn't invest in these. But now when we talk about my final verdict, let's talk about what I like versus what I don't like about the glove. Starting out with, there really isn't much that I do not like about the glove. I virtually love everything about it, especially the form and fit to it. To me, that's what really sticks out the most, is when you put your hand on the inside of this glove, when you first get it, it was a little tight, yes, but it breaks in perfectly, and it just molds to your hand. For me, it's like the perfect fit of a lot of gloves, and it just gives you a nice natural fist without having to squeeze so hard, without having to open so hard. It's a nice flexible glove, and for what I do, it is such a comfortable fit and feel. The knuckle padding is thus of just a high, very, very high quality. I don't know why, I just had a mini stroke or something, geez. But basically, the knuckle padding is very, very good. It protects your knuckles very well, and it prevents shock from getting down into your elbow, your shoulders, and everything else. And on top of it, when you punch, you definitely make a nice solid feedback, but at the same time, it's cradling everything because of those high density multi-layers of foam that you have going on here. I like the wrist support in that you have that Ergo strap system that it will turn right up and pinch over your wrist. And on top of it, when you wrap your hands in these, your wrist is completely protected, and you have enough padding going back here, not only for your knuckles, but for the back of your hand to prevent any type of like metacarpal or metatarsal fracture going on up here. And it also prevents your wrist from going back too far or forward. And so it has ultimate protection as far as your safety goes, and they are soft enough, like I said, about that medium soft, the soft texture, to where I start punching my my sparring partners, I know it's not going to damage them too much unless I really start picking up and wailing on them, and at that point any glove will hurt somebody. The other cool thing about this glove is not only does it have that conical shape that really matches everything to your fist, it has a very nice balanced feature to it. I guess you could say it is somewhat forward or top heavy compared to some other ones, which some people don't like, but for me, when I strap this nice and tight, it doesn't feel forward or front heavy at all. I personally like forward weight in my gloves anyway, but if that's not for you, then they do have other gloves that are more of like a straight, and it's more equal balanced in general. But overall, for me, it is very well equal balanced when you strap it on, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But like I said, protection goes, good for you, good for your sparring partner. The interior lining is very soft, very nice, and some people would hate that foamy texture because it does heat up a little bit, and no, there's no breathe holes on the glove, which honestly you don't really need. But at the end of the day, It's more of a personal preference thing. If you don't like that soft foamy texture and you like more of like a stretched nylon, or you like more of a like a tricot material or something like that, I personally like these linings better. Some of the complaints people will have is that they take forever to dry out. These don't as much compared to some other brands out there that have very soft foamy inner linings. These do not take very long to dry out at all. For me, I keep them out of my bag for a half hour, an hour without putting them on like my air dryer or anything like that. I like my Boot air dryer that I use for my gloves. It airs out pretty fine and it dries out pretty good, and they're very easy to clean, and it maintains whatever cleaning product you put on the inside, and it also doesn't stink. The glove in general is very hard to get a foul odor from unless you just go for months and months without cleaning them. I have run into that with some friends. Actually, my friend who was a UFC fighter, Parker Porter, flat out told me like, "Oh, those gloves stink because I never really cleaned them right," and I said, "Well, that's kind of funny," but he had a different pair of rivals other than these. But overall, the glove performs very well. It's very durable, very easy to clean as well. Speaking of cleaning, because of that microfiber outer shell, so easy to maintain microfiber. That's why people prefer that nowadays, because all you gotta do is just whoop with a wet wipe and you're good to go. And that's basically what you got going on here. I just basically use Lysol wipes and I wipe things down and we're all good to go with this glove. And then the interior lining is very easy to spray down. The padding does not break apart easy whatsoever, though like I said, Rival has warned you, maybe don't hit the bags in these as much, and the padding will last even longer. And like I said, as far as fit and comfort goes, one of my favorite gloves out there. Just a really nice natural fist no matter what you have going on here. And honestly, for some of you MMA guys or some people that just don't like hand wraps, in my experience, you could actually wear these without wearing hand wraps, and I think you'd be just fine because the padding and the protection is that good on these gloves. And on top of it, they come with super long laces, so you don't have to replace them. I love long laces, very easy. I do wish that they had a Velcro version of these for the ease of being an MMA fighter like me, because we swap between gloves sometimes 2 or 3 times a night, depending on what you're doing. But with that said, guys, if you were to ask me what my rating is, I think this one is a very obvious 10 out of 10, and I put them in my S tier, basically meaning that they are excellent gloves. It goes S means excellent, A means great, B means good, and then D and F means that they're poor or they're bad. In this case, and C is average. But when it comes to these, I put them in my S tier. They are definitely one of those best gloves I've ever tried type categories. I think the reason why I put them in S tier as well is because so many pros absolutely love using these. They have a nice track record. They have such a positive review rate as well, and so many people have used these and love them, and they last you a very long time. Like I said, I've had these for 3 years, and they still look brand new if you take care of your equipment, and I use these a lot, especially when we spar, because I know they're going to keep me and my sparring partners safe. And in general, very easy to maintain, very protective for you, your sparring partner, and anyone else that you're going to come across, and overall just comfort. I love that I can put my hands on the inside of these gloves and I don't have to worry about moving my fingers around, doing anything with it. There's not a catch to the glove at all. It just fits well. It performs the way it's supposed to, and I think Russ Amber did a great job at designing this glove here. So if you're in the market for a nice new sparring glove and you want to spend that $180 range, which I think is a very, very fair price because there's other gloves out there, I'd rather have one of these compared to 2 pairs of power locks. I'd rather have one of these compared to some top boxers, compared to anything that Fairdex has produced, anything that Rival has produced. Really, I'd put these up there with like your winning gloves. And I know some people hate when they say that, like, oh my God, winning's the best glove out there. For me, I like these just as much as I would my winnings, if not more, because they just fit me a bit better. But with that said, if I had to take one thing away, if you don't like a glove that is a little bit more heavier towards the front, maybe not for you, but for me, it's still very well balanced, and that weight towards the front is just very minimal. With that said, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Once again, Happy New Year to you. I hope 2024 brings you nothing but good luck and fortune, as I hope I start making my way through the professional MMA ranks. Hopefully some fight news coming soon at the end of October for a show that might be on UFC Fight Pass. So keep your fingers crossed for me, and I keep my fingers crossed for you. As always, comment below and let me know what I missed, if I missed anything, or if you have any questions about these gloves and what you want me to review next. On top of it, like and subscribe, as it's just a tiny little click for you, but it goes a long way to help the channel. We're already at 7.7 thousand subscribers, which is absolutely crazy, getting so close to 8, everybody, and it's all because of you. Guess what? You can also follow me on my social media pages. I started up X again to see if that's going to help, so you can hit me up on there, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can also email me for a Q&A video if you ever want to. On top of it all, I really appreciate it, and you can always message me. Sometimes I'm a little late of getting back, but I'll always try and respond to you because you guys make this channel work. All right, folks, with that said, thank you so much for watching The Combat Corporation, your source of combat sports, and as always, I'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.